So today I'm joined by Jenn Jenkins. She is the associate broker and co-founder of Broker Hub Realty. If you want to just give us a brief 30-second, who are you, and just a slight background about you, we'll kind of dive deeper in just a moment.
Okay, my name is Jen, and I have been a realtor for 15 plus years now. I am a full-time realtor. I always think that's super important for people to know that it's not something I just like dip my toe in, fully in it. I am very big on building relationships and making sure that my clients feel 100% like they are part of my family. That's something that's like very important to me, and something that I've learned is just the way that I want to be out in the world. I am a boy mom. I have 2 boys, an amazing husband. He is the reason I feel that I'm able to do what I do, and I just love everything about real estate.
Yeah, that's awesome. It sounds like you have a very supportive family at home. And
Very.
what part of the valley are you guys in?
We are in the West Valley. I was born and raised in the West Valley, so I tend to do a lot of business on that side.
Okay.
Yeah.
Very good to know. I love it. So you describe your brand as joyful, reliable, and genuine. How did you kind of come up with those words?
At the time, I came up with those words because the name of the group I was running was Jenkins Realty Group. So I was trying to play off of the J, the R, and the G. So joyful, reliable, genuine. Over time, it's just really like the base of how I want to show up in this world. I learned probably about a few years ago that I feel like my purpose in this life is to spread joy. So joyful really is at the beginning of everything that I walk into. And then genuine, I've actually switched to using genuine living now as kind of my brand. I am just very sincere in wanting people to show up exactly as they are when we meet. And I want to make sure that I portray that to people as well. What they see is what they get. When they watch videos like this, they are going to see this exact person in front of them. So being genuine is actually a very big cornerstone of how I do my business.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I would want to point out that Jen has been like a longtime friend of Poindexter Moving and Storage and refers quite a few clients our way, so I definitely would recommend her services, and she's very genuine and authentic. For sure. So you build your business around relationships more so than transactions. What are some things that you do to make your clients feel part of your family and like your close-knit sort of like team when you're working on a transaction or a deal?
Yeah, well, I mean, I think part of it is finding partners out there who also believe in what I believe when it comes to real estate, so such as yourselves. The lender that I use is very rooted in relationships as well. She's very important in my business. So 1, I think it's surrounding myself with people like that. 2, I have built my business 100% by referral, so that's something that is very important to me. Every year I have an annual pie party that I put on for my clients. It started out, we made about 10 pies, and now we're up to about 100 pies. And everybody comes. It's people that I've helped, people that have referred me. We meet at my house. My mother and her best friend actually hand make all the pies. They get to pick which one they want. They come, we have food, we get to catch up. So I think that's one really big thing that I do to make sure that they feel like family. And then I'm able to keep up with what's going on in their life. I always say I don't have this huge database, but I have people that not only believe in me, but I believe in them and who they are as a person. So it just kind of creates this like great family environment.
Oh my gosh, I love that. And the pie party sounds like so much fun. Is that during the holidays?
It is. It's always the Saturday before Thanksgiving.
Oh my gosh, I love it. I actually host like a cookie decorating girls' night at my house around the holidays too. So very cool.
Yeah, it's tradition.
I'd love to check out your party one time.
Yeah, I mean, you just have to look on social media actually too. I do post about it quite a bit, but I mean, it's probably my most favorite thing that I get to do with my clients every year.
Yeah, and I'm sure you get a lot of referrals that way too.
I do, yeah.
Very cool.
It works.
So you talked about first-time home buyers, empty nesters, people that are sometimes in unexpected situations or chapters in their lives. What's like one of the biggest challenges you face with some of those, and how do you kind of overcome them?
I think for a lot of people, there's just a lot of fear or maybe the unknown when it comes to buying or selling a home. I love being a problem solver, and I love trying to get creative with how I come up with solutions. So I think I really try to lean into that fear for them, but try to make it as like stress-free as possible. It just seems like a lot of first-time home buyers seem to come to the table with this fear that they're not going to be able to get into a home, or I've actually had a client once say like, I only make, this much, or I can only afford this much. And I always try to stop them and say like, be very proud of the position that you're in right now, and know that this is a stepping stone. And I think people just lose sight of what they've been able to accomplish. And I think that's partially why I love first-time home buyers, because there is such a joy on their face when they're able to close on those homes and like step into that next chapter. It's pretty beautiful to watch. Same thing with empty nesters, they've built this life, they've raised kids there. I always say that the walls in our homes hold so many things. Like if you think about it, when you're sitting in your home and what those walls have absorbed, they've absorbed prayers, they've absorbed grief, they've absorbed love, laughter, joy. Like it's a pretty amazing thing that our homes hold for us, so I just don't take that lightly. And I understand that transition into the next house for them.
Yeah, that's wonderful. And also like building trust. I feel like if you're a first-time home buyer or going through a divorce or, an uncomfortable kind of situation in life, you're looking for like a helping hand and someone to kind of guide you and educate you, and that they have your best interest at heart. And I definitely get that vibe from you for sure.
And no judgment, right?
Yeah.
I've sat there and some people are just in tough situations, and I mean gosh, a lot of people have been there, so never to feel ashamed for the situation that you're in.
Right, absolutely. Before your real estate career began, where were you in life, and kind of like what were you doing career-wise?
So I actually came from the small business world. I ran a home decor store with my mother prior to getting into real estate, and we closed those doors in 2008. Not a lot of people were purchasing items for their home at that time. So we closed those doors, and in all honesty, I got into real estate more out of necessity than anything else, because I didn't know what else to do.
Okay.
And I was like, I like homes.
Yeah,
I'm gonna do
make them
that.
pretty.
Little did I know that actually has nothing to do with it, but.
Do you feel like having some sort of like design background works towards your advantage as a realtor, where you can sort of guide people in terms of staging or what to add or remove for showings and photography?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, one of the things I always tell people is like, I feel like I'm able to see possibility where a lot of other people might see problems or hiccups. And that's just, being able to see what potential the house might have. Or people are very visual, and sometimes they can walk into a home when you really think about it, ticks all the boxes, but it might not be aesthetically pleasing to them. And I don't know that they often think that it can be fixed pretty easily. So I think it's just kind of opening their minds up to that. So that's helpful. Staging, I've learned staging is definitely something that is key, I feel, when you're selling a home, because again, people are very visual. So for them to be able to walk in and possibly picture, having their family there, or, starting a life there is pretty key. So staging I'm all about. So it definitely comes in handy.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is there one specific tip where someone could get the most bang for their buck if they don't have the funds for like a full remodel, etc.? Just like one or two like changes that could make like a drastic difference when listing a home.
For sure. So I always say paint does wonders. So a fresh coat of paint does wonders, and honestly, decluttering the house. Pulling the stuff out that I always say, look, you're moving anyway. Let's go ahead and start the process now. Get some boxes, put half of your stuff in it that you know you're not going to use, because again, that clutter, it just draws attention for people. They kind of sometimes, I mean, I've walked into homes and we've walked in and they're like, nope, and I'm like, give it a minute. So I think that process is actually really important as well.
Okay, yeah, that's one of the biggest parts of like our business model. As you know, we do free storage for the lifetime of a listing for all of our realtor partners. So when I'm doing home tours, etc., I'm always like pointing out like, hey, if you box some of that up, remove this, it's too cluttered with furniture, etc., it does make a huge difference. And a lot of times people think moving has to be just one phase when you're like done, but no, we can come in and kind of clear things out and make it more aesthetically pleasing for photography and open houses and
Such
all that
a beautiful
stuff.
service to offer.
Oh, thank you. What is like one tip you usually give your buyers when they're preparing for a move?
Ooh, let's see, when they're preparing for a move, I would say that's a really good question, actually. What one tip do I have for them? Because they're moving into the house, right? Well, one thing that I do always say is that only bring the stuff that you love, because every house is going to be different. And one thing that I notice can actually pull people back is when they walk into a house and they are like, literally, my couch won't fit here, my table won't fit here, and it's switching that mindset. Like, unless that couch was like $50,000, it's okay to not take that with you. So when you're thinking about the process of moving and boxing all the things up, like, make sure that you really want to take it with you, because that is your one chance where you can just get rid of it and not have to worry, and it actually saves you a lot of energy.
Yeah, that's actually a really good tip. Yeah, and for us, we always say like stick to the checklist. You don't want to be, the last week before your move, like starting to first be like, well, transferring electricity and the mail and all that stuff. So it's like try to plan as much in advance as you can, so that those last final days you're not like overwhelmed with stress.
That's perfect.
Are there any neighborhoods here in the valley that you feel like are growing or undervalued that people should maybe look into?
I mean, gosh, if you just go out the 303, I work a lot in the West Valley, and still to this day, when I drive down the 303, I'm always just like, man, how that scenery has changed out in the West Valley. I just think it's amazing. I think it was undervalued for a long time. I live in North Peoria, so I'm probably a little partial to North Peoria, but I feel like North Peoria was undervalued for quite a long time, and people are finally starting to see the beauty of it out there. But yeah, I would just say, take a drive out the 303 and your eyes will definitely be opened.
Yeah, I lived in Estancia for a couple years.
Yeah, so
It's probably been like 13 or so years.
I mean, gosh, when you lived there, people were like, it's so far.
Oh yeah, definitely.
And now,
I heard that all the time.
Now it's like, it's right there. It's fine.
And beautiful.
Surrounded by the mountains.
I kind of miss that area, to be honest with you.
Yeah, it's quiet. You've got the mountains. It's a small. I love the neighborhood out there because you just don't have. I mean, the infrastructure's coming, right? But just not having all of that around there, so you don't have the busyness I feel out there that you do have in some of the more, metro areas.
Yeah, but still close proximity to freeways, much more now so than when I lived there. So you don't feel like you're in the middle of nowhere with like a very long drive to civilization.
Yeah, so true.
What's your favorite type of client to work with, if any?
I don't know that I guess I do. I love first time home buyers. I don't know. There's something special about that. And I also say, I feel like with first time home buyers, they do rely heavily on the agent to help them understand the process. They ask really great questions. So I do find that they tend to ask very different questions, obviously, than like somebody who's bought a few homes. There's just something pretty magical about that. I don't know. So I would have to say first time home buyers. They're just a different, like, they have so much joy going into the process. Like they haven't been burned by housing yet, or how some people might have that, but like they just have so much, there's gratitude, there's joy. It's like, I guess it's all the things that I probably value is what I see in first time home buyers.
Yeah, and you're just like a sponge, like taking in all the information.
Yeah.
I remember when I bought my first home, I knew nothing about termites or what to look for, just like cracks and like the little things that I would have never learned if it wasn't for my realtor, like really teaching me the whole process, the ins and outs. So I'm like, I could see that.
Yeah. Well, and it's fun too, because a lot of times like their families are very involved as well, and I'm very involved with my family, so I actually love that part of it. I know that there'll be people out there like, dad's coming to the inspection, and it's just like, my dad would do the same thing, so I get that. But there's something really cool about that too. Like when I've shown a house before, and he's like, all right, I need to call my parents, and I'm like, that's beautiful. And I hope my kids do that too. And so hopefully they use me, but yeah.
Are there any either heartwarming or funny stories throughout your real estate career that you want to share?
Oh man, there's
one of
lots
each,
of them.
whatever.
Gosh, okay, let's see. Funny stories. Well, I mean, it's really cool actually. So when you do work by referral like I do, it's pretty interesting how you get to know, like I said, you kind of get to know everybody. There's one particular family that I have worked with. I worked with the son first, and then he referred me to his dad. So I worked with the dad, and then their other son purchased, and I got referred to him, and then his coworker purchased, and then another coworker purchased. So now, like what's really cool is at the pie party, like literally the whole family is there. So I actually just had a picture taken with them this past one, because I was like, this is so neat when you think about it. There's 3 generations that show up, and I was able to be in their life. So like I watch everything that happens to them now. I've been invited to baby showers. Like it's just such a cool experience. So like that would be a really heartwarming one. Man, funny ones. Funny ones. I guess I could say recently I helped the sister of a client of mine, and every time I pretty much would see her, she's like, "You're mine now. We're not gonna let Jeff have you anymore. Like you're mine." So like I enjoy those moments because now when I see them together, it's just back and forth between the two of them. So that's probably fun and lighthearted for me.
Okay.
Yeah.
I remember this is, I guess, kind of a funny / horror story in the moving world, but when I was a kid and we were moving out of our childhood home, my dad had like rented a U-Haul. We had floated it up. We were closing the next day and we're like gonna head out. And he was backing up into the driveway and like wasn't going over the lip, so then he like gassed it and right through the garage.
Oh no.
So the closing was delayed. Like, my parents obviously got into a big old fight, and we had to like emergency try to find a crew to come patch it and fix it. And so it's funny now, like we laugh back,
Sure, in the moment,
old like
so
stories
much.
like about the holidays and stuff, but at the time, wow, that was not good.
Oh
so
yeah, for sure.
hire a professional.
Absolutely.
Oh, do you feel like you have an advantage being an agent in the Phoenix metro area because you're from here versus somebody that maybe just swoops in and either is new to real estate or was a realtor in a different market?
I don't know that it's necessarily an advantage. I've never actually had anybody say like, we were excited to have you as our realtor because you were born here. I think what's fun about it is that I can tell a lot of stories about how the Valley has changed over the years, which people who are moving from out of state, they appreciate that. Even just as simple as like Bell Road, back in the day, at least in the West Valley, there was literally nothing around Bell Road. And so now, like when I travel down and we're going there and I'm showing them everything that Bell Road has, I'm like, back when I graduated high school, this was pretty much the end point. And so it's just fun to have the stories, but I don't know that there's necessarily, an advantage. I think people like it. It's a rarity from what I understand, but
It is, yeah.
and then I can tell them, the truth about the weather also. I don't feel it's that bad, but other people might disagree with me.
Yeah. I remember when I first moved to like the Phoenix metro area, there would be wild horses along the 101, kind of the area that we are here. just wild to see.
Just
You would never
wild.
see that now. Now there's
Oh.
cranes and constructions
Absolutely.
and big development in all those same areas.
Mhm.
So things have definitely changed over time.
For sure, especially downtown. It's fun to watch that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it's been so great talking with you, Jen, and
Thank
hearing
you.
some of your background and stories. If someone were to be watching this and they are wanting to connect with you to potentially work together, what would be the best way?
I would probably say you could reach out. Well, I mean, I'm old school. Phone works just fine for me. If you're a social media person, I'm under Genuine Living. Those are probably the best ways.
Okay,
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah,
Like I
thank
said,
you.
it was so great having you, and I look forward
Appreciate
to
it.
doing more business with you in the future.
Absolutely.
Take care.